Welcome to the channel, everyone. This is Gunnar542 and I'm your host Ringy. Now today we're going to be talking about the possibility of Myles Lewis-Skelly exiting Arsenal for a move to Everton of all teams. So this report comes from OneFootball. There are multiple reports coming up, but this is the most recent one that I found. So I said I'll just go with this one. So as you can see, Everton continues to follow Arsenal man ahead of possible summer move. Now, again, like I said, there is multiple reports coming out about this. Nothing concrete yet, but I think there could be something in it. Maybe not a permanent move, but I think maybe a loan move would be more sensible. But we'll see what they have to say here about it. So, Arsenal could consider allowing Myles Lewis-Skelly to leave the club at the end of the current season as he continues to struggle for regular game time, which is absolutely correct because Pierre Hincapié has been outstanding this season. Well, outstanding may be a bit of a stretch, but he's been very good. And then he has Riccardo Calafiori behind him, which makes Lewis-Skelly our third choice. Now, considering last season, Lewis-Skelly was basically our first choice and he made it into the England team, I think the lack of game time has pretty much damaged his hopes of getting into this England team for the World Cup. So I think he's going to have that on his mind and he's going to be thinking about that himself going forward in the future. So the defender was the first choice, just as I said, the defender was the first choice left back at the Emirates last term and appeared to have secured an important role within the squad. However, his position in the team has changed significantly this season following the arrivals and performances of Riccardo Calafiori and Piero Hincapié. Now, while I do agree with the Hincapié one, Riccardo Calafiori, he's very injury prone from what we've seen, which was one of the main reasons why Lewis-Skelly got the nod last season. Because Calafiori just couldn't stay fit. He would come in for 2 games and then he was out. But Hincapié has been a revelation this season. Even though he's technically only on loan, it is a loan to buy, so he will become a permanent Arsenal player next season, which could be even worse for Lewis-Skelly, especially if he wants to get back into that England team. So with both players now ahead of him in the pecking order, Lewis-Skelly has found opportunities increasingly limited. Although Arsenal still regard him as a talented defender with considerable potential, the club may find it difficult to provide him with the consistent playing time required for his development. Now this is crucial, as we saw with Wanyeri. He went on loan to Marseille, which I believe was a huge mistake, and I know I'm not the only Arsenal fan who thinks that, especially with the injuries of Martin Odegaard, the inconsistent performances from Eze and Saka. I think Wanyeri definitely could have done a job for us, especially towards the end of the season. And I think they sent him to play under, was it De Zerbi? I think it was De Zerbi was the Marseille manager, and then De Zerbi left like 2 weeks later. So I mean, yeah, and I believe there's no option to call him back either. So that looks like it's a good move for him because I believe he's playing and he's scoring goals and getting assists. But for Arsenal, we really could have done with him right about now. So Everton monitoring the situation. Interest in the defender is already beginning to grow ahead of the summer transfer window. According to Football Insider, Everton have been tracking Lewis-Skelly since the start of the current season. Since the start. And have maintained their interest as the campaign has progressed. Now, I don't find this hard to believe. I say, if he was going to Everton on loan, I wouldn't be completely against that. But definitely not a permanent move. He's definitely a player we need to keep around. Because he's got the potential to be one of the best left backs in English football, and he can also play in midfield, which is actually his natural position. Now, the Toffees consider him one of the best options available in the league for the position and believe he could strengthen their defensive unit. Not wrong. I think he would definitely be one of the better left backs at Everton, if not the best. Who is their left back at the moment? I believe it's Lucas Digne. Is he still there? I think he's their left back. It's hardly a Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman still playing? I wouldn't be surprised. Everton are expected to assess several areas of their squad in the summer, and the addition of a new left back is understood to be a key priority. No, I don't blame him. I don't blame them for eyeing up Lewis-Skelly, especially considering his lack of game time this season. Especially like he was like a number one choice last season for left back, even when Calafiori was fit. Lewis-Skelly was getting in ahead of him, but I don't know whatever's going on this season. He just does not seem to be getting the same opportunities. Now, the situation could create an opportunity for the Merseyside club to move for Lewis-Skelly if Arsenal become open to negotiating his departure. Now, again, I'll go back to this. I don't think a permanent move would be on the cards as far as Arsenal are concerned. I think they would be more open to a loan deal. Because it says here, Arsenal have previously maintained they would prefer the defender to remain at the club and compete for a place in the team. I mean, they say that, but he's not really getting the game time to prove that. The club continued to value his ability and recognises the qualities that made him their first choice left back in the previous campaign. However, circumstances could change before the end of the season. If Lewis-Skelly continues to struggle for minutes, Arsenal may consider their position and become more receptive to offers. Now, I'm not really a fan of this. I really want to see Lewis-Skelly stay at the club. I think letting him go on a permanent basis would be catastrophic. Maybe not catastrophic, but it would be a bad move. It would be a very bad move to let someone so young, such bright potential, go to another team on a permanent basis. I think they should just keep him. If not, if they can't give him game time, because you see, also I actually saw a link linking Calafiori to Chelsea. So if Calafiori was to leave, because I'm sure he's probably not happy with his current minutes either. If he was to go to Chelsea, then that definitely opens the door for Lewis-Skelly to get a lot more game time next season. Because I think this season he's probably going to call it a write-off. Because I think he's pretty much going to miss out on the World Cup, let's be honest. But next season could be the start of something really good. Possibly possibly even playing midfield at times as well, which I believe they were going to do against Mansfield in the last game. But turned out he was suspended, so yeah, that fucked that up. Now, should that scenario develop, Everton could be well placed to make a move for the defender. It remains to be seen whether Lewis-Skelly would even be willing to join the Toffees, or whether he might prefer to wait for an opportunity to move to a bigger club in the future. See, this is the thing. If Lewis-Skelly does become available, it's not just going to be Everton looking for him. There's going to be clubs all over Europe who will be more than happy to take Lewis-Skelly and more than happy to play him too. Which is why I'm saying maybe we should consider a loan deal for him rather than a permanent deal. If he was to go to somewhere maybe in Germany or Italy or even Spain or France, anywhere, and get consistent game time, I think he could come back a much, much, much better player than he already is. He's already a very good player. But if he was to get consistent game time throughout a full season, I believe that would be the better option rather than selling him permanently. Again, I'm repeating myself, but I'm not up for him going permanently, but I would be open to him going on a loan move. So that's my thoughts on this whole situation. Lewis-Skelly linked with a move to Everton. There's multiple sources coming up with this now, so it does feel like there's something in it. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, Commenting below, let me know if you'd be open to letting Lewis-Skelly go, or would you prefer a loan move as well. So yeah, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more videos in the future. I am going to think about doing watch alongs and stuff like that as well, if you're interested in that. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's all I got to say. See you later.